Hi, friends. Welcome to Enlightened World Network. Dr. Ruth Anderson here for New Month Numerology. We're talking about the forecast for March, and I'm here with Michele Landers. She is our very favorite numerologist. She brings in more than just numerology. However, she takes a look at astrology and whatever else might be impacting us, whether it's politics or economics. She brings it all in for us. So Michelle, so glad you're here and looking forward to hearing what March has to bring. And I was trying to remember the old adage, March came in like a lion, roared in like a lion. What is that phrase?
That's funny, Ruth. And hi, and thank you for having me here. And I love being doing this forecast every month. I was thinking of the same phrase. March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb. Only it's going to come in like a kind of a lion, and it's going to march right into April. But we'll get into that in a minute. But I was, just scratching my head thinking, okay, what phrase? And then I found something. This kind of encapsulates it. I came upon this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and I think it says it best. Our life is March weather, savage and serene in 1 hour. And that is just so true about March. And this, a little bit more of an ominous phrase from Shakespeare, beware the Ides of March. And that pretty much sums it up for March. Energetically, though, there is a lot going on besides the crazy weather. I'm almost tired of saying it only because I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it happens to be true. The weather patterns are just going to intensify and they're going to be wild, and that's just the way it is until everything settles down. Now, what does that mean? Everything settles down? Well, let's see by the end of the year, because this is a frenetic year. So the weather pattern is really kind of like our new normal. Um, so the thing is, right, that history has a way of repeating itself. But the hope always is that each time it returns, we have a little more wisdom. We've learned a little bit more. We can respond quicker. Again, with more wisdom, with mindfulness. And if we as humans can't do that or don't do that, guess what? The universe is going to do it for us. So, all righty, that's exactly where we're at. March is throwing us curveballs. We're in Pisces season. And so, what do we know? We know that Pisces is about water and emotion and sensitive, intuitive. So, a lot of turbulence on water, in water, still, and this is a different, not just conjunction, but planetary things that are going on. There's still going to be stuff with air traffic. So, why is this happening? Well, we have a number of powerful transits occurring. And even though, for the most part, they come to a head on March 29th, we are feeling that energy now. And just as a heads up, I kind of see March/April as 1 month, but March kicks it off. So I want to say that what we have here is a lot of scattered energy all month. And that is very much a three characteristic, a number three, which I'll talk about that. So we have this fluctuating energy that is very intense at times, and we will feel it. And I'm pretty confident that people are feeling it now. And to what extreme it all pans out, I don't know. That remains to be seen. And a lot of it has to do, I have to say, with the energy, the consciousness, the awareness of the planet, because we could do so much to bring so much of this energy into alignment. So I'm hoping that everybody takes that into account, thinks about that. Very serious. So much does depend, again, on the consciousness of this world, and that is just of utmost importance right now. So if you've been feeling out of sorts, if you've been feeling anxious, if you've been feeling tired, if you're feeling like you have to do something different, or maybe you feel like you have a lot more intuition or more creative, you have these ideas, you want to express something. And this is the other thing, if you feel like something is going to happen, you are feeling this energy for sure. So let's start with the numerology. March is the third month, so we have the universal energy of 3, but then we add the universal year number, and 2025 equals 9. So we add that to the universal month number, and normally we would get an additional number to interpret, but this is a different year, my dear friends, in many, many ways. So we know that the universal year of 2025 equals 9. But what makes this year a little different is that whenever you add 9 to another number, the final total will be whatever that number was that was added to 9. And I know that might sound confusing, so let me just simplify it. So if we add 3, which is March, to the number 9, what do we get? We arrive at the number 12. Then when you add 1 and 2 together, you get the number 3. So it always reduces to that number. If we add 4 to the number 9, what do we get? We arrive at 13. 1 and 3 together, what does that equal? 4. So the reason I'm pointing this out is that this year, each month will be affected by a double dose of whatever that number is for the month. So if it's 1, there's all this moving forward energy, get out of my way, it's going to be double like that. And that's probably October. Anyway, so we have the number 3 on steroids, so to speak, this month. And that is within the backdrop of our 9 universal year. And again, what do we know about the number 9? Well, it resonates with the global world right now and what's happening. It resonates with the world of theater, of art, of creativity. It is a humanitarian number, and it is an ending cycle. And what is ending this year? Well, I personally don't think it can be any more apparent. We already know that there are so many changes and endings going on within the world, within the government of the USA. But since the 9 does affect us globally, for sure, we can expect and we'll see major transformations and endings worldwide. And I think we can all agree that as a nation, as a whole, we are desperately in need of an overhaul. And think about it this way. When I was writing this, I imagined it as whenever something is birthed, right? There's a period of uncomfortability and pain. And the higher powers that be, whether you call that God or the divine or universal life force, is saying, because it's a long time coming and it is time for a change. And you must go through this, what seems like this painful birthing process in order to create the new life that we all desperately want and desperately need. So I just want everybody to know that what appears to be destructive, what appears to be wild, even crazy, and crazy it is, it's just this metaphorical bulldozer that's unearthing what we need to see clearly. So right now, the number 3 is at the head of the table, and this month it's serving up a lot of energy, both positive and challenging. So I guess I'll start with the positive side. Three is excitable, it's creative, it's communicative, it's joyful, it's intuitive, it's psychic. It is all about communication and expression. Communication, we're really going to hone in on that. It's about creation, it's about birth. It's charismatic, it's social, it's linked to Jupiter, the planet of expansion, the planet of luck and optimism. And those are all the wonderful and special qualities of the number three. And I always have to remind everyone, everything in this world is dual. There's a duality to everything. So what's the shadow side of three? Well, three can have a tendency to scatter energy in so many different directions that it struggles with focus and follow through. And that's really what we're getting right now. We're in an informational and misinformational hotbed of crazy talks, ups and downs. It's just wild. Three is also superficial, and just like Charles Dickens, the Artful Dodger, three can be cagey and can avoid any kind of deep, dives emotionally or getting to the root of a problem. And again, three is about communication. And when three is operating in a positive manner, what is it? It's a pleasant voice, it's honest communication, it's being heartfelt. But when it's operating negatively, three can talk, and nothing of substance is coming out or being said. The three energy can bring a breakdown of communication, both on a personal level and definitely within our communication system. And I'll just throw this out there. There is a chance of some type of, I want to say maybe cyber attack or something like that in the US, or that may be, it may be someplace else, but there's just a strong possibility of that within the next, March and April. Three can have mood swings. It can be indecisive. It can be the liar, the exaggerator. So we can expect to see and hear and feel all of these characteristics, not to forget the positive, also mixed in with a lot of these challenges this month. There's going to be a lot of talking going on. Some of it's just hot air for sure, but some of it will be meaningful, some new ideas, some important changes, some good and bad important changes will come about. Tons of information is coming to us, and all of it has to be, we really have to be discriminatory, because all of it has to be taken with a grain of salt. Definitely, we're going to see a lot of protesting going on, more than usual, for a whole variety of reasons. There also is likely to be issues with farmers and delivery of food. Three can be loud. All in all, it can be a wildly unpredictable month. So I pulled the cards and the tarot cards that correspond, and those, of course, are always interesting. So what does the tarot say? Well, the tarot said, the first card I pulled was the 12, because 9 and 3 equals 12. And the third card. So the 12th card is the Hangman. And what does that represent? That represents independence and the willingness to see things differently. But also, just like the number 3, it can be indecisive. Now, the third card of the tarot is the Empress. And now that is just a beautiful card, and it's social, and it symbolizes joy and fertility and creative expression and nurturing, the garden of abundance. It's really a beautiful card, and that's all 3 energy and as well, and that's what we can have. But in reverse, it's a lack of communication. It can be critical, very critical in how it observes things or what it has to say. It could be very negative. But I really think it's important to remember that we can tap into that energy of the Empress if we want, into the joy, into the raising our vibration, as long as we don't allow ourselves to be taken in and taken down by some of the negativity that we might experience or that's going on. So the takeaway for the 3 energy of March is this: it's a powerful time, speaking your truth, sharing ideas with others. Please do that. Engaging in inspirational conversations. It's a very, very intuitive number, and it encourages us to take deep dives in our spiritual life, whatever that or however that looks to you. It's a wonderful time for writers, for speaking, artistic projects, for revisiting past creative ideas or ventures. It's ideal for meeting new people. It's also wonderful for reconnecting with old friends, which somehow what's old is coming back. And that might be people or certain situations. It's wonderful for expanding your circle and reconnecting again with old friends. The energy of the 3 also has the word attractive associated with it, in the sense of beauty products, also attracting opportunities, being optimistic, and most importantly, having gratitude. So on the flip side, of course, you've got to watch out for having these emotional highs and lows, being overly emotional, being very mindful of gossip. There's a lot of, chatter going on about different things, miscommunication, and over exaggeration. So that's the energy of the 3. So astrologically, this is especially true with Mercury, again, retrograde, March 15th to April 7th. So you've got to watch out for impulsiveness, scattered energy, or feeling overwhelmed by too many choices. Mid-month, we may begin to see some endings of things. I don't know and then a lot of hype and spin. So it's going to pick up this, more energy. It's going to pick it up. So prior, though, to the Mercury retrograde, we have a total lunar eclipse in Virgo that can bring really deep revelations. So what else is bringing in all of this emotional energy, though, and even turbulence? Well, this is when we have to flip over to the astrological side. Well, we're in Pisces season right now. And if you know anything about Pisces, some of the traits are deeply sensitive, which is wonderful, highly intuitive. A lot of Pisces just know things. It's creative, it's artistic, it's spiritual, it's mystical. Pisces is drawn to meditation, the psychic sciences. And of course, then there are the challenges or the shadow side. And Pisces can be kind of an escapist at times. They want to withdraw into their own fantasy world and are prone to escapism through mind altering drugs, alcohol, things like that. And they can also be overly emotional and indecisive. And again, here's where that water aspect comes up, and that I talked about in the beginning of this. There's a lot of water energy going on that is emotional and physically as well. So some of the other astrological aspects for March, I'm going to go over a few dates. March 1st to April 12th, we have Venus retrograde in Pisces. So what does that mean? Well, we know that Venus is a planet of love and relationships. And when it goes retrograde in Aries, Aries is a little fiery. A retrograde always prompts us to look back at our relationships. And by the way, can also bring in past relationships or ones that look similar. And that's interesting because honestly, that just happened to me yesterday. I got a phone call from someone I haven't heard from in years. It's also about looking back at our values, our passions. Now, Aries is passionate, but independent. So there may be some tension in these relationships that we have. We can experience some ego conflicts and power struggles and fiery confrontations. And so all of that is, in the air right now. And you can understand why, if you're feeling this energy of anxiety, this is why. March 2nd, we have Mercury conjunct Neptune in Pisces. And I'm laughing because there's so much water energy here. Mercury, though, is a planet of communication. And when it aligns with Neptune, which is the planet of intuition and illusion and delusion in Pisces, it creates this very, very mystical and intuitive energy. But again, it can be deceptive. It can be confusing. It can blur reality. It is a very watery energy. And because of all the planets in Pisces this month, we have to watch, again, water-related accidents, flooding, oceans, again, trouble on the ocean, in the ocean, and our own emotional bodies. There's so much emotional energy packed in this month. So another interesting thing in March is we have this very unusual transit taking place. We have 6 planets transiting through Pisces, creating what is a significant astrological event called a stellium. So I think I mentioned it in the beginning. If not, it takes place on March 29th, and this will coincide with the partial solar eclipse that's happening. Now, this is huge. This eclipse magnifies the impact of the stellium, intensifying emotional, spiritual, and karmic transformations. And globally, this is really, really a potent alignment that can influence the collective consciousness. And boy, oh boy, I would hope that potentially that would lead to these really positive shifts, right, in our values. Also, it enhances artistic movements. It enhances spiritual awakenings. So even though that is so full of energy that can be not so good, it's also full of energy that has so much potential. So another very significant astrological event concerns Uranus. And this one, I have to say, it can be really, really tough. All right. In March, Uranus continues to transit through Taurus. And okay, that began in 2018 and it ends in July of 2025 when it enters Gemini. And we know that Uranus is a planet of surprises, of innovation, but it's also disruption and sudden change. But here's the eye opener, okay? Uranus's interplay with other transiting energies and even with the fixed star Algol adds a new layer of meaning to what can unfold, because in March, Uranus approaches a conjunction with Algol. Now, I think you've all heard me say this before. Algol is often referred to as a demon star. Mythologically, Algol represents the head of Medusa and is one of the most infamous fixed stars in traditional astrology. And historically, it's been associated with intense and sometimes malefic energies, upheavals, challenges, transformations, sudden shocks, dramatic changes, even crises. But ultimately, it serves as a catalyst for growth and for renewal. So, if anyone remembers, I talked about the Algol conjunction like this one last year in July 2024. And we all know what happened then. And if you don't remember, that same conjunction happened at the time of the assassination attempt on Trump. So this conjunction can bring back that type of energy, and that is up until July. I'm just telling you, but it can bring up major problems. Uranus rules air travel, and it rules flights and airplanes. And again, yes, it could bring another assassination attempt, and maybe not just for Trump, but for others. And I hate to say it, it could even bring, like I said, either cyber or terrorist attacks. And okay, so I know this is all sounding grim and a little frightening, and I don't want to now flip it and sound like some Pollyanna, but just know, please know that whatever happens, we have to believe ultimately it really is for our greater good and the greater good of our world. The age of Aquarius has been a long time coming. And just like the birthing process, it's not without pain. I personally have to believe, and I do hope that you do as well, that we're being prodded and poked to open our eyes, to see the truth, to stop the anger, to stop the hate, to stop the self-righteousness, to really, really understand what has value and what is valueless. This healing, okay, begins within ourselves, then our families, then our communities, and ultimately, this healing spreads to the world. So, this month, get your peaceful spiritual warrior ready, but not for battle, all right? But for facing your fears, for bringing as much light and love wherever you go. And most of all, most importantly, not to hate, and to have faith that it will, and I know it may take some time, but ultimately these changes, these breakdowns are going to bring a new harmony and a new peace to the world. So thank you all for listening. And again, have faith, have love, and be peaceful.
That's a lot. There.
It is a lot.
I appreciated what you said at the end about get your spiritual warrior ready, not for battle, but for facing your own fears. And as you said, it all change starts with us and then can emanate out. But that was fascinating. So thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, and again, this energy of March, this is going to drip into April as well. We have a lot of changes coming, especially in the next 6 months. So, but in the end, it's all for our greater good.
Well, and I'm just being reminded of the importance of finding balance in everything that we're doing. It's, the importance of, and even if you need to, stand with your legs spread just a little bit so you can find your balance, your equilibrium. And what better way to do that than to start every morning connecting in with your spiritual self, whether it's
Essential.
right, whether it's meditation or prayer, but get that balance going and amazing. Your day will be different. I promise you it will.
You are so right. And Wow, I appreciate your bringing that up. That is so essential. I, if I don't start my day with some type of meditative process, there is no doubt by the end of the day, and I usually don't miss, but if I do, I notice I'm just not as calm as I normally would be. And I don't, maybe I'm just a little off or whatever, but yeah, it's so important. It's so essential to start your day with. And it doesn't have to be long. You know, sometimes people think, oh, I have to do this for hours or no. No, 10 minutes, 50, do some yoga nidra. You can do yoga nidra in bed before you even get up, just lying on your back. And yoga nidra is a beautiful practice. There's so many meditations, yoga nidra meditations on YouTube that you don't even have to get out of bed.
Right.
So,
It reminds me of if you, at least for me, if I start my day off and have a donut, my diet is messed up for the entire day. I make the worst food choices all day long. And it's the same thing if you start your day putting positive, high vibrational, divine love into your
yeah,
psyche, it just gets you going in the right direction for the rest of the day.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
Michelle, what would you like folks to know about you? And if they want to book a private session with you, what can they expect?
Sure. Okay, so if you go to michellelanders.com, and that's Michelle with one L, you can go in there, you can browse around a little bit. If you would like to have a free 15-minute consult with me, I would love to do that. You can book that on my website. I am a professional numerologist. I am also a board certified life coach, certified hypnotherapist, and I've written a few books or a couple of books. The Tao of Numbers and The Year of Living Miraculously, both are available on Amazon. And I just love to support people in their goals. So you can get in touch with me, michellelanders.com.
Perfect.
Thank you, Ruth.
Yes, thank you so much. And friends, be here with us as we bring in every month, the first day of the month. And we look forward to this time with you, Michelle. So thank you so very much. Friends, take good care. God bless. We'll see you all soon. Bye now.
Bye.